Welcome back. Well, I'm very thankful to God that I've got a beautiful day today. We've had a string of really miserable weather. If you've been keeping up with me, you know that the last month and a half has been just awful. Really raining almost every day, or wind, or something that was just contrary to going out and shooting or doing anything. But today we've got a great day, and I'm going to follow up on my video that I did about the Colt Gold Cup National Match. We're going to put it through its paces and see how it does. Now, I've got to tell you, I was out just the other day. It was a passable day. It wasn't too bad, and I was at the range and I was doing some chronograph testing with some loads. And I thank my Patreon donors for purchasing this ammo for me. With your funds is the only way I can possibly do this. I mean, ammunition is so expensive these days. But I tried some, I was chronographing some Federal American Eagle. These are all 230 grain hardball, full metal jacket. And I had pretty good expectations that, the velocities would be somewhat consistent. And I didn't complete that video because all of a sudden the weather came down on us, and I just had to quit. So, but I did get the chronograph testing done, and it wasn't comprehensive. I didn't do 10 rounds a piece or 20 rounds a piece. It was only 5, and at 5 rounds I could already tell that the consistency was just not what I had expected. But anyway, I've got the American Eagle Federal, and then I've got some Remington Union Metallic cartridge, UMCs. And they're all 230 grain loads, and Winchester USA Valor. We're gonna try those out and see how they do for accuracy. I didn't get a chance to see how their accuracy was, to be very honest with you. Based on the kind of wide dispersions of velocity, I don't expect great accuracy, but they're probably standard. But what I brought along with me also today, now I haven't tested this particular load. I made up just this morning 10 rounds of. I had some 230 grain Remington Gold Sabres, or Golden Sabres. I don't know what they are. These are defense load. Basically it's a brass jacket, and it's got a twisted folded front end. They're supposed to be some of the best defense ammo out there, bullets out there. And I loaded it with some accurate number 5, and it's a middle of the run load. In other words, the load runs in the accurate manual. It runs from 7 grains to I think it's 8.2, and I loaded up 7.5 grains. And by my calculation, you can do a little bit of interpolation. Linear interpolation is basically taking, a velocity at one end and a velocity at the other, a known data point on either end, and then you can, divide, basically find out what the difference is between the two, and then divide it by the appropriate number, and find out how many feet per second you get per tenth of a grain, and so forth. So anyway, I came out, it'd be about 866 is what the actual figure came out to be. And you'll see in the chronograph loads that all this ammunition barely poked over 800 feet per second. It's not high velocity stuff. That's for sure. I think they averaged about 812 feet per second across the board, all of them. They were all just about they were all almost identical velocities on the average, but their velocity spread was quite wide, as much as almost 100 feet per second in one case. So with just 5 rounds. So I'm going to give it a go with. I've got this Colt Gold Cup National Match. It's getting nice and warm here under the sun. It's a nice little breeze that just kicked up, which shouldn't bother my shooting any of it. It'll make me feel a little bit more comfortable. I'm just going to run 7 rounds downrange. with this, and this is a generic GI magazine I've got here. I'll probably load up those 8-round magazines when I start running the tests on the this other commercial ammo. But anyway, this is what I'm going to be doing with the with my hand loads. So let me get suited up here, get my hearing protection on, and my glasses on, and I'll see how this old timer can shoot. You'll see how this old timer can shoot. We'll see how it works out today. Bright sunny day, so I got crystal clear sights. It's nice. Remember always a bright, sharp sight picture. Do not worry about the bullseye. That's because I've got to load one into the chamber. There we go. That's a nice feeling load. Either my eyes are fogging up or my glasses are. I guess it's my eyes. Where do you get to be in your 70s? You'll be, these are just reading glasses, that's all. I'm taking as much care as I can. I could shoot faster than this, but the point of this is to see what accuracy I can derive, so I'm applying all the basics. I'm making sure that both my front and rear sight, especially the front sight, is sharp and clear, well aligned. The target should be blurry. And there's 7. Well, let's go down range and see what that did. And it looks like the brass, that might be a pretty good load because the brass is all in one little circle here. Not much more than about 4 or 5 feet in diameter. So that's a good sign. I have not tried this particular load before. Sometimes, you know, when you monkey around with a load, I just happened to grab 7.5 grains. But sometimes if you go up or down a couple of tenths of a grain in a pistol load, it'll shrink things down. So we'll see how it does. Let's step over the target and take a look. Well, by moving that group over by just 1 click would make that a possible. Perhaps up 1 click too. I'm not trying to sight the gun aim for this load because I may try a different one, but every one of those shots would have been inside that 10 ring if it was over just 1 click and up 1 click, and there'd be at least 3 in the X ring, 25 yards. So that's just a small indication of what that Gold Cup national match with a national match barrel is capable of. I like it, and so here we go. We're gonna start out with the Federal American Eagle, and I just realized I'm looking downrange at a 50-yard pistol target. So just so you know, a 50-yard pistol target and a 25-yard official pistol target have exactly the same size rings. The only difference is that the 50-yard target has got a larger bullseye by 1 ring. The 8 ring is occupied by the bullseye instead of the 9 ring. So anyway, So I'm going to use the same hold. They're going to print a little bit lower on the paper probably. We'll see. But anyway, I grabbed the wrong target from the truck, but that's what we're going to be using. Doesn't make any difference as far as the accuracy goes. It is going to make a difference on how it prints regarding the 10 and X ring, because obviously the bullseye is bigger. So here we go. The Federal American Eagle. Get as steady a position as I can. I heard that bullet take off over the countryside from that gravel pit. Unfortunately, these feel different. You know, one shot after another, they feel a little different. So there's a lack of consistency in this commercial ammo. But what are you going to do? You might wonder, do I shoot with both eyes open or just one eye like I'm doing? When I'm shooting this sort of thing, I'm shooting with one eye. When I shoot combat shooting or, you know, any kind of fast shooting, it's always with two eyes open, but for that depth of field. But in this case here, I want to make sure that my sights are and that'd be 7. I'll bring the target back so I don't have to move the camera. So there's the Federal American Eagle. You can see there's one really wild shot, and I told you I had one that was really different. It felt different, and it was a heavier recoil. So that would be that one up there, I'll bet you. The ones down at the bottom, not bad for a commercial load, I guess. Properly scented. There's actually a possible of all in the 10 ring, except for that one flyer. So that's just a matter of sight adjustment. So for ammunition that's got a very wide disparity in velocity, that's not bad. It's not bad. It's standard. We're going to pick up the steam now and move along to the Remington UMC. So that's what I've got in here. I've got an 8-round magazine, Remington UMC. Get my glasses back on. Find my I must get a sip of water here. It's getting very, very hot. And just so you know, there's a mountain of, I'm shooting into a mountain of 2-inch crushed stone out there. Bullets aren't going to go anywhere. If they skitter off, they're only going straight up or into these very dense woods. So it's a beautiful area to shoot. Back a ways. We're about a mile and a half off the main drag, which isn't that, it's not that big of a drag. All right, so here we go. And this is a 25-yard target. I made sure I grabbed the right one. I'll tell you what, the trigger pull on this is fabulous. It's 3 1/4 pounds. It wouldn't qualify, I don't think, for CMP competition. I think they require, well, maybe, I don't know if it's 3 1/2 or 4 pounds. Those sights are absolutely beautiful. Sharp, black sights. They're made for bullseye work. That's what they're made for. Okay, I'll repeat the drill. I'll go down and get that target and bring it back. Post another one. I think I see one. I see one in the white off to 3 o'clock. Maybe one at the 9 o'clock too, but we're going to find out. Well, this is the Remington UMC. Quite disappointing. That's not. That would never be a possible. You'd never get any consistency into the bullseye, into the 10 ring. So, and it's pretty well. I would say it's pretty well sighted in for this particular load too. I mean, if you were sighting in this ammo and this was what you had, that's how you'd sight it in. And I was correct. There's one at 3 o'clock, and I even saw that one standing on the line there at 9 o'clock. As a matter of note, if you're getting on an age like me, or maybe even a little bit younger, and you have cataracts, get them fixed. I was blind with cataracts a few years ago. I mean, I only with a scope could I see anything. I'm shooting now with my own eyes, and I was able to see those bullet holes on a bullet hole in the white paper. That's pretty hard to see. I got full 20/20 vision now because I had my cataracts repaired. Don't hesitate to do it. It was a 2-month process. Basically, it takes 5 minutes to actually, the operation takes only 5 minutes, and you're awake, and it's kind of interesting. There's no pain involved or anything. But I'm getting off track. But I hate to see somebody go throughout their life, having difficulty because they have cataracts. This day and age, you don't have to put up with that, and you can have them repaired, and you don't have to wait until they ripen like they used to have to do back in the 60s and stuff like that. They can take care of them when they're still pretty young. So we're going to move on now to the Winchester Valor, USA Valor. Let me get this ammo out of the way so it's not blocking your vision, and keep things neat. We'll load up with that Colt 8-round magazine ran just fine, no problem. So we're going to load it up. And one little thing I noticed is that these 8-round magazines, you can't really tell the difference. I don't know what in the world they did. The one thing that they don't have is that little bump in the middle of the follower, which you see typically on GI style magazines. But I think the spring is, if anything, the spring is a little bit harder than the springs on a 7-round magazine. Maybe that's what they did. They probably are using a finer wire that coils up, bunches up tighter, but maybe they're able to have a higher temper spring with more force. I like it if you can get another round into a 1911 without having to build out the bottom of the magazine. I think it's cool. So get this out of the way here. So this is the last group that we're going to test. That's hot sitting out here under the sun. I guess I'll have to put up with it. And so far, no hammer bite. I got a little bit of a red spot, tiny little red spot there where it might have grabbed me one time, but you know, I'm not, you know, I've got, my other 45 has got the speed bump on it and everything, but frankly, I don't know what in the world I need it for. I mean, this is nice and trim. You don't have the speed bump. You don't have the big beaver tail on it. Yeah, I mean, if I were doing rapid competition or something like that, where I'm grabbing quickly, but you know, I use this in the military. I never had a problem with it. So anyway, that's my own rant. I don't worry about little details like that. If it works, it works. So, viva la 1911, the way John Browning made it. I love them. I like them all, but I like this original concept. This is a 50-yard target again. And this is the USA Valor Winchester. Well, from here, I see daylight coming through the black, so maybe it's a little bit better. Let's go down, grab that target and take a look. Well, that would be a lot better. It's not sighted in for that particular load, but using a 50-yard slow fire target, which again is another ring larger. Same size rings, same size scoring rings, but just one, I'm holding down one ring, which even with that, the rounds were printing a little bit higher. It's a Winchester ammo, so they're probably using, I mean, they can use anything they want, but they're probably using like Winchester 231 ball powder, and I've used that before in my SR 1911, and it works wonderful. So maybe that's a good powder also. But I'm just guessing. You know, Winchester can use any powder they desire, and sometimes they don't release all powders to the public. But as you can see, you know, if it wasn't for the fact that the consistency of their velocity, you know, and you can see in that demonstration with the chronographing, the consistency is really not there at all, and that's why you got this just the dispersion of shots. But I mean, there's 3, 4, there's 5 shots that are right dead into the 10 ring and X ring, and the others are outside. I would attribute that to the lack of consistency. But let me show you something else now. Here is the composite. I pulled this. Here's my target frame here, and as you can see, I mean, that pistol can shoot. Even with crappy ammo, that pistol can shoot very nicely. I'd take that any place. You know, and these outers out here, that's just the bad loads, and they're weighted towards the bottom half here. More shots in the bottom, and that owes to the fact that I was shooting that 50-yard target with some of the shots that were landing 1 ring lower. But you can see that's a shooter. I get, you know, I get your point, some of you people. I understand, you know, that some of you don't like Colt, or, you know, they want to go with a different brand and everything. Well, that's all right if you want to spend another $1,500 to maybe get a, you know, a 1/2 inch smaller group, and I kind of doubt that, to be very honest with you. If you want to pay another $1,500 or something like that for the same quality, for the same, basically the same type of gun, this would be equivalent to, for instance, and I'm not throwing names around, but you know, a less bare national match pistol is almost $1,600 more than this one, and it has exactly the same features. It has a, you know, the same type of Bomar style sight, same type of front sight. Everything is set up the same way as a Gold Cup national match for $1,500 more. They're great guns. I'd be proud to own one, but I certainly wouldn't want to. I wouldn't be proud to spend $1,500 more to get essentially the same performance. I think Colt did a nice job when they designed the Gold Cup national match. I think based upon what I saw with the group that I had with the Golden Sabres and the accurate number 5 powder, this gun has a lot of potential. I have no doubt whatsoever that it could match the performance of any pistol on the market and do exactly the same thing. You know, you can only wring so much out of a pistol's accuracy with regard to tightening up the bushing. The bushing on this is absolutely tight. The front bushing is absolutely tight. There's no wiggle whatsoever. The barrel locks up absolutely tight. There's absolutely no wiggle whatsoever. You know, and as I said before, you know, it's not necessary to worry about the grip frame and the slide relationship, because that's not really what controls accuracy, because the accuracy is controlled by the upper section, by the slide, barrel, and the bushing. The lower grip frame assembly, whether it wobbles or not, has absolutely nothing to do with consistency. But this can boast that there is no wiggle. There's nothing there. It's tight. But it's free. It doesn't. I don't have to break this in shooting it a month of Sundays in order to get it to shoot. Just a nice gun. I love it. It's a keeper. And today I had, you know, I was able to put it under the acid test. I got the sun right directly over my head here. I was getting absolutely no glint, no glare off this, the top of this pistol with this wide rib. Just nice. And the trigger pull couldn't be any better. And if you're shooting a national match competition, I think they might hold you to 4 pounds or 3.5 pounds. So most national match pistols are set up with a 4-pound trigger. This can be tightened up easy enough. If you're shooting national match, all you have to do is simply bend the left leg of that 3-way spring that's underneath the spring cover here. Just bend it in just a tiny little bit. And that'll give you another 1/2 pound or 3/4 pound. That's all you have to do. But I like it the way it is. I'm not shooting in any CMP competitions, and nobody's weighing my trigger. So I'm keeping it. For all your Patreon donors, thank you so much. I would not have been able to purchase that ammo out of my own resources. So I thank you for your kind assistance and helping me out. With that sort of thing, I can bring you more videos. I can buy some bullets and buy some primers, and we can do some more shooting, more testing, and have fun together. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button right now before you forget, and give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. Benny's out. Benny's at home right now. He can't. I don't want to bring him out in this heat. He doesn't like hot, and he doesn't like cold. He's a fair weather guy. So it wouldn't do well for him at all to be in that truck. He'd perish no time at all. But take care. God bless.